Mr. Donaldson, when we look at the indexes on about smart cities, we often find Barcelona ranking among the first cities. Uh, Please tell us a little bit about how did Barcelona become a smart city? Who and when decided that Barcelona should embark upon that journey?
Yeah, yeah. Good morning to you all. Yeah, well, it's difficult question to answer because there's not a specific moment or there's no specific who. I would say it's a combination of different teams, and there are different momentums and different dates or projects. I would say that they have defined the model of Barcelona as an innovation city, or as we call it most of the times, a smart city. But if I try to make this exercise of being a little bit concrete, we could agree that we started developing, deploying the smart city concept, the idea, the model in our city around 2010. And I'm referring to that date in terms of showing that it's not that we have a very long experience in terms of 20, 30, or 40 years. It's something relative new. So this, I would say, is one of the message we can send, that you don't need a very big space of time in order to convert yourself into a smart city. And it's also helping. It also helps us this specific year, 2010, because it was the first Smart City World Expo Congress that we held in Barcelona. We recently had our 10th anniversary. We are going to launch our 11th anniversary during this year. But this Congress that has become kind of a reference in the world marks more or less when we started working on this idea of smart city. But at the same time, I mean, this is not accurate. This is not real, very real, because in order to have this smart city model that we have, there has been a lot of work before 2010. But I mean, if we had to look for a date that more or less helps us to understand the idea, we would be talking about 2010.
Actually, what is a smart city all about, and what makes Barcelona a smart city today?
Yeah, this this is a very tricky question again. I would say that more or less at the beginning in 2010, we were working under this idea and we were deploying all our actions and all our strategies in this sense. We were working under the idea of what a smart city, of this classical definition of a smart city. That smart city would be a city that gathers all the data, information, and all the intelligence that the city has. We gather all this information in order to take better and more efficient decisions, in order to manage in a much better way our cities. We provide ourselves of intelligence, the intelligence that arises from the city, or through sensors, or through gathering and mixing all this information, all this data, in order, as I said, to take much better decisions. But I think that we have evolved from this primary or from this more classical idea concept of a smart city into new terms. We are not only talking now about the information about data, we're also collecting the collective intelligence that the citizens, so it's not only the cities, but the citizens can give us, because citizens might not be experts on cities, but citizens live in the city. They go to work, they go from one place to the other one, they use the transport or the cars or walking or by bicycles. So they have experience on the city, so they can give us a lot of that collective intelligence, and needs to be taken on a good account. And we're not only talking now about data. We're not talking about or we're not talking about the data that you can collect from a sensor. We are talking about creating the space. We are trying to introduce the citizen's point of view in order to take better decisions as well in order to improve the quality of life to our citizens. We're talking also about trying to connect the global goals, the global challenges that we all face, such as climate change, such as inequities, such as digitalization, such as the evolution of our demography in terms of immigration that brings diversity, richness, but needs to be managed in order of how the elderly people, they are becoming more and more important in order to manage the cities. We're talking, as I said, how to connect those global challenges in terms of a city, and specifically in the case of Barcelona, in terms of Barcelona. So, and then I would say, talking about this evolution, and this is something that we've experienced in a kind of a tragic and a dramatic change because of the COVID, we've realized that we need to adapt ourselves to the new era we are living. This era of changing things, of things that haven't got the same stability or the same saltiness that it used to have before. So we need as a city to adapt ourselves, what the experts call the resilience part of the cities. So I would say that these three components, the classical idea of smart cities, the important to respond to global challenges at a local basis, and the importance of adapting ourselves to the different evolving reality and circumstances would go far much beyond the classical idea of a smart city, and would be what we understand now for what a smart city should be.
I noticed when going online on the City of Barcelona's website that you have excellent open data. They're interactive, they're eye-catching, they're easy to follow. Did providing open data work for Barcelona? Did more people come to participate in decision making? Did this dialogue between the city of Barcelona and the people in the city became more dynamic with this open data?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's still a little bit early to know the impact in terms of outcomes, which are the ones you were asking. I'll get to it just a minute away. Now, first, I would like to talk why we decided to have this portal, and what were the goals, what were the idea after it. First of all, it was in terms of transparency. There's a will in terms of transparency behind the idea of launching the open data portal. We've got up to 500 data sets that gives us a lot of the information that goes on the city. So in order to have this dialogue, as you said, and this feedback between the city hall, the public institution, and the citizens, it's very important to provide good quality information. So that would be the basis of transparency. Then it is also very important for us, and this is more related to the architecture of the different information systems that we have. We think that it's very important that all the data that we are able to collect in terms of managing the city, it's very important that this data can also be open, that can also be to the access of citizens, because it means that the data we are releasing has to have a very good quality of information. I mean, when we make it public, it has to be reliable, it has to be obviously has to be true, has to be good quality in terms of frequency. We're giving this information in terms of the different aspects that can be taken out from the citizens. And then this other thing that you were pointing out, that, let me be honest, it's a little bit difficult, because you need to have a little bit of notions in order to manage all this amount of information. I mean, the open data portal gives us in a very open and access formats. I mean, it's not PDF, it's not different closed formats, which means that there's a lot of numbers, a lot of data, and you need to have a little bit of training in order to manage it. I mean, we now see that there are careers of data analytics. There we see that there are big data and AI careers and degrees in order to manage all these different professions and professionals in order to manage these data. So when it comes in terms of citizens, it's a little bit difficult. But we've realized that sometimes this information is more used by people who are specialized on data, people doing research, people doing PhD, or even, and it's very important in quality of democracy and in terms of establishing a dialogue, as you were asking, it's also used by journalists. It's also used by the media who want to have more specific information on one topic. So I would say that, yeah, I mean, citizens have downloaded because we've got the stats that shows us that citizens are interacting, are downloading. But to be fair, I think it's more used by the academic community and the media community than an average citizen, which is also good for us because the ones who have to create knowledge in terms of utility in that sense are middlemen or middlewomen such as academics or journalists.
Since we are speaking about open data and about the interaction between the city and the citizen, please tell me, how do people in Vienna interact online with the city? What can they do online, and when should they still come and meet an official sitting behind a desk?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, and it's something that we've been working on. When we're talking about the evolution from the more classical idea of smart city, this is something that we've also taken a note and we were working. In fact, there was a time, and now it's fully incorporated on what we are working currently, the idea of humanizing technology, putting technology at the service of people's needs. There was a time when we made that we had this on mind, how to shift from smart city to a smart citizen. So it's something that I said at the beginning of the interview, trying to bring the information that arises from the collective intelligence. And in terms of digital platforms, we launch, and this is something that we are really happy and proud of. We launch what we call Decidim. Decidim means we decide, and it's a digital platform that allows people, citizens of Barcelona, to participate in different topics. We are talking about a platform that you need to log yourself. This point is very important because we want to know that the dialogue is established between citizens and not behind the anonymous that sometimes other social networks can give us. I think that we have to. We're looking for a quality democracy deliberation. We need to talk face to face and know who is in front of the side of the computer. So it's very important to log yourself, and then this participation platform, this digital participation platform, allows you to give your opinion, give your proposals, establish a dialogue between the politics and the citizens, and it even allows you, and this is something that we have done during these years, it even allows us to have votes and in order to decide certain things. Last year we launched participation process budget. So the people of Barcelona, up to more than 50,000 people were able to vote how to invest over 30 million euros in order to decide different projects. So the good thing about this platform is that it's not only the classical forum where you interact, you give your opinion, your proposals, or you just ask questions in terms of accountability, but you also can decide. You can also actually decide. But this, at the same time, as you were pointing in your question, needs to combine with the offline participation. I mean, we still have to have these different spaces, these different places, different moments where citizens and politics can talk and discuss face to face, because we know the importance of the digital life, but we also know how important is to maintain this more personal and more presence kind of dynamics.
Um, More often than not, when talking about digitalization, people think about officials getting fired, about other people losing their jobs, because if the machine can do it, the city won't need as many people to work with the papers and with the citizens. Um, but as I have read while preparing for this interview, Barcelona actually managed to create 40,000 workplaces with IoT, Internet of Things. How so? How did this happen?
Yeah, well, let me be honest, and I'll tell you that I'm not expert on the trends that they are going to this automatization and the use of AI and some other emerging technologies is going to affect the labor market. So, I mean, I would put my opinion on hold. Yeah, well, regarding to this figure about these 40,000. Well, it's basically that when we have deployed all through these years, all the sensors and all the technological infrastructure that's behind, we're talking about not only websites, we're talking about APIs, we're talking about the back office, we're talking about the different data lakes, we're talking about the program that's behind, and so on. You need a lot of technical people that can set this infrastructure that holds the model of the smart city. So you've got those 40,000 people that are working under this IoT infrastructure. That would be one of the answers. The other thing is that when it comes to automatization, and I'm talking only from the perspective of the public administration, and there's a field, there's a room for improvement in that sense. I don't see it such an in terms of losing jobs. I don't see as well. We had some civil servants that they were working on documents, on procurements, on procurements, and now we don't need them. I would be saying that they are not putting any value into those more automatic works. If we've got a machine that can solve those, and we can put these people that they're working on these things into other things that they can bring more value to their works. We are not talking about taking these people out. We are talking about putting them in other responsibilities, putting them into work in other fields. So I don't see it such as a substitution, but something in order to empower more our civil servants.
To conclude, please tell me what are now the greatest challenges that the city of Barcelona faces in matters of digitalization and trying to embrace digital transformation.
Yeah, well, it's a huge question. It's very complex because I mean I wouldn't say one of them. You know what I mean? I mean there's such a impact on the technology and the digitalization, especially after the COVID that we are facing. That's very important. It's very difficult just to hold on onto one challenges. But I would try to summarize. If I would try to look for one specific challenge that we have in order or related to the use of technology, when we're providing public services. I would say that one of these challenges would be how to pass from a reactive administration to a more proactive administration using the technologies. And I believe that the combination with big data, or what we call good data, and algorithms, one of the aspects of AI, would help us to be more proactive in the sense of telling our citizens how can they reach to our digital public services, how they can reach to all the different things we have to offer to them. Because it's basically it's basically that we launch a lot of initiatives, but we are also waiting for people to come and ask for these different public services. If we combine the data we have on our citizens, what are their needs, what are their interests, what do they lack, what do they really want, we would be able to go to them in a more proactive administration. Let me make a very, very short example. You know, the way that Netflix sends us an email on Friday night or Saturday night and says, well, we know that you've been watching this TV show, this film. We think that you might like to watch this film. Well, I think we should be, we cannot make a comparison just like this, but I think we should be able to work in that sense. We know that your needs are these ones. Let me offer you this public digital service in a more proactive way.